Well, let's start with, of course, the one I was most excited to speak with, and that was Robert Patrick, who, of course, is most famous for playing the T-1000 in Terminator 2. He also, of course, stars on the CBS show Scorpion and has been in The X-Files. He was a regular on that for a couple of seasons as John Doggett when David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson left. Yeah, he's like a Hollywood legend and a favorite of mine. And he talks at length about taking on this role of this sort of mad preacher-type character and lore. Now, I will warn you, there may be some adult language in this interview, so just be aware if there are any younger listeners around. So here he is, Robert Patrick.
I play a Reverend Ezekiel. His wife dies. He's a respected man of the community. He has a strong flock of followers in his church. He grieves over her. He remarries a widow. She has 2 kids. They move to Connecticut. They're in the mansion in Connecticut. Spiritualism is coming into the fold. People are dabbling with it. He hears about it. He's curious about it. He sees it as a way to possibly communicate with his wife and, in his mind, prove once and for all God's existence, which is the thing that everyone is trying to prove, even a man of the cloth, because certainty is the thing that drives faith. Uncertainty. You know what I mean? Until we're certain, we don't know. So everything's based on assumption and faith.
Such a storied career, including Copland, one of the best movies of all time.
I agree.
What drew you to this role, and what do you look for in your roles nowadays?
I love working. I feel the clock ticking. I'm trying to get in as many roles as I can before it's all over. I have one purpose. That's to act. I love acting. I love trying to do as many different things as I can. I'm a lot more confident now, 30 years down the road, and I'm willing to try more and more things. And I want to do the best work I can do, and I still think it's ahead of me, so I'm in pursuit of some sort of elusive, I don't know what the fuck it is, but it drives you, and I really do feel like I'm running out of time, and I gotta keep going and going and going and going. So when Scorpion was on hiatus, I try to find something that will take me out of that and be at the other extreme, because Scorpion, I don't even know if it's a comedy, I don't know if it's a drama, I don't know what it is, but it's a fun show to make, I'll tell you that much. And it's a very unique show, and it's great writing, and I love my character, but I want to do other things, and I want to do really dark things, I want to do really light things, and one extreme to the other, and this fell in, and Gale's involved, and she's involved with great things, and Glenn Morgan's involved with the X-Files, and the pedigree of the show's great. Aaron Mahnke. This is a unique way to do a show. There's so many different media involved with the storytelling aspect, and I just want to be a part of it. I don't get to do period pieces that often. Put on those clothes and wear a top hat. Wow. I feel like I should have mutton chops. It was great.
So next I spoke with Gale Hurd. She is one of the most powerful producers in Hollywood. She is largely responsible for the success of The Walking Dead. She's produced most of James Cameron's films and really is just a huge, huge force in the world of movie and television producing. So here she is talking about the experience of bringing lore to the screen.
How do you pick your projects when you have such a storied career of things to choose from?
They speak to me honestly. I mean, you only have so much time to tell new and interesting stories, and I didn't want to repeat myself. So in this case, it was, being over 60, doing something brand new and original, and combining mixed media, not only the scripted side, but animation and archival footage. To be able to innovate when you're essentially over the hill is about the most exciting thing I can imagine.
So what are the challenges in trying to take a purely audio format like a podcast and turning it into a full-fledged television show?
Well, the challenges are to come up with a format that will work for any possible podcast adaptation. which is why we came up with animation, because like the beast within, you can't go back to the 1500s and find video or, you know, find anything other than, you know, paintings or engravings. And so that really enabled us to draw upon the animation. We also wanted archival material to expand. When we were talking about animal magnetism, we were talking about other things. We could use the archival for that. The scripted was something we knew we wanted to do from the very beginning. We knew the basis for all these stories are people that we want the audience to care about, to engage with, and and to experience what was happening through them. It's not like you can go back and do man on the street interviews or go into the crime labs and talk to people. So that was every episode was scripted pretty much the way you saw the episodes unfold.
Next up, I spoke with Kristen Bauer, best known for playing Pamela on True Blood, and she talks about her role in the show, playing the mom to a doll not unlike an Annabelle or a Chucky type of creation. So that was kind of spooky. Here she is talking about that.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Oh, good.
So according to the information we've been given, the show is unscripted.
My stuff was scripted.
Okay.
And, I've only done one thing that was totally unscripted. So I saw that in the thing, and I thought, well, should I tell them that mine was written down for me? And so that was classic playing a character fiction. And there was no information I could find about the mother of the boy who's haunted by Robert the Doll. So mine felt like just an acting role with a mother who has a very troubled child. And so I didn't have to, like on True Blood, I would always say, I don't play vampire, I don't play immortal, I just play that I love this person. And that's what I didn't have to play anything supernatural, I just had to play that I love my kid and something is very wrong.
So Amazon Prime and similar streaming services are sort of the new model in Hollywood. Is it anything different about filming a show for them versus a more traditional network?
I don't think of it different. And then now I realize these are all going to be released together, and it is different from their perspective. But for me, it's not. It's just exciting for actors, because back in the day when I started, you had 3 networks, and then 4. You had Fox, and so storytelling was limited by advertising, the stories that you could tell and the things you could say, and obviously HBO changed that a lot. And I think it's incredible that there's all these new avenues for interesting ways to tell stories. I mean, the creativity, I feel, it has exploded with streaming.
Right.
And I've been very impressed with the Amazon shows. My teacher was Jeffrey Tambor, and so I had to watch Transparent, and he's incredible. So it's really a lovely thing for actors that all year round, 12 months out of the year, we can find stories to tell, as opposed to we used to have pilot season. 3-4 months, and if you didn't land something, you waited till next year.
Anything creepy happen while you were filming? Any bumps in the night or anything that freaked you out?
No, I didn't have anything creepy happen. I think my husband says I'm painfully practical, so I think I'm really hard. Like, there could be something really creepy happen, and I would say it's probably seismic activity because of a fault that's 642 miles. I mean, I just make everything practical.
Right.
It's terrible for him.
Next up, I spoke with Holland Roden, a young actress best known for playing Lydia Martin on MTV's hit show Teen Wolf, and she talks about acting in a very intense episode.
Now, we're familiar with the show, as you just explained.
Yeah.
When they came to you and said, hey, we're doing a TV show based on a podcast, were you kind of like, what are you talking about? Or were you familiar with it at all?
Honey, I came from scripted MTV. That's not a thing either. And I was one of the first to do that. You know, I mean, I'll never forget getting that audition back then. They're like, "What do you mean you're doing MTV scripted?"
Right.
And I think people are wiser these days, where if they hear something new, they're not immediately judgmental. They are actually curious and excited.
Right.
And so, thank God I think are really moving towards that direction in art right now, and television and film. And so, when I got wind of this happening, I was incredibly excited because I'm a podcast lover, and Lore is no exception. So, I was excited. I just wanted to be a piece of it, and I'm in a place where I have a career, and I think I'm very grateful to be a working actor and a little bit of a name, but it's more, I still have to audition, I still have to prove myself, and I was so overjoyed when I got this role because as an American, I don't know if it's talked about a lot, but we don't get to play other, nationalities that often and other accents, and so I was really just grateful to these guys that they gave me a chance, and was ecstatic to be a part of something like this.
And finally, here we are talking to Aaron Mahnke, the creator of the Lore podcast. He was a really cool guy, I have to say, just really intelligent and passionate about the project. And he talks about bringing Lore to life as a podcast and as a TV show.
Lore was, I don't know what you've read, Lore was an accident, right? I was creating a giveaway to promote my self-published novels. And the giveaway wasn't going to work in the PDF format that I wanted it to be in, because who reads 15,000 words on a PDF on their phone? So I almost deleted it. And then at the very last minute, I stopped myself and said, no, I'm an audiobook listener, so maybe I could record these and put the MP3s in a zip file and let people download them. Like that was my vision for this. And a good friend said, no, this is a podcast. You should put it out as a podcast thing, an ongoing storytelling experience. And I fought him on it a bit, and finally I gave in and just jumped in head first.
So as the producer of the show, what's your role been like in bringing the show to the screen? How involved are you, and what are you kind of doing to make sure your vision stays true?
I'm part of the whole process, in the sense that I'm on email chains. I'm part of the script writing process. I help make decisions. But at the same time, Lore, the podcast, doesn't stop. Like, I still have this ongoing production. It's never ending. And I have a team of people on the TV side who are really gifted at what they do. So it's been easy for me to say, I'm going to make sure I still focus on this. I trust you guys to make this. And but things like the voiceover, the parts of the TV episodes where there's narration by me, they hand me a script, and then I say, all right, well, I'm going to rewrite all of my voiceover lines to fit my mouth, because silly things like alliteration looks good on the printed page or on the screen, but when you have to speak 3 hard C's in a row, it's not fun. So I change things like that, or words that I just never would have used in the podcast. I might thesauricize them,